Good morning. It's a nice hot day here in my old Kentucky home. And I just wanted to let you know that I've made more chicken and dumplings. And they were a hit. And they were made out of thighs. So if anybody wants to make any, someone said they wanted to make some after they heard me talking about it the other day. But, I'm no expert. But I did just put 2 chicken thighs. I washed them, put them in the pan with a bouillon cube and filled it up with water and just boil the daylights out of them until that chicken is real tender. And then the dumplings were a hit. And all I did was put some self-rising flour, a little of that chicken broth, and some water, and stirred it up where it's kind of stiff, and then just take a spoon and dip in there and put in that boiling broth and cook them about 2 minutes on each side. My husband liked it. He said, I'm not kidding, that the other day, it just wasn't, something just wasn't right. But he gave me a big smile for the chicken thighs. And I've got 2 left. I think I may fry those today. But I knew you'd want to know about that. Don't make them with chicken breast. It's too dry, he says. I still don't believe that, but that's what he said. I saw this little saying, said, it's so hot outside. When I opened the door, I thought I was checking on the cornbread. Us women know the feeling of that, letting that oven door down and that hot air hitting you in the face. Well, my girl has just texted me this morning and said, good morning, Mama. So she's still in Florida. This is, I'm not sure if they're coming back Friday or Saturday. I'd say probably Saturday, because I think she's got to work Sunday at the pool. But yesterday they were shopping, and I said, just don't get carried away. And she said, oh, I won't. And then she FaceTimed me yesterday afternoon, and she said, oh, look at what I got. 2 tops, 2 little tops. Of course, when you're somewhere like that on vacation and it's hot and you think, oh, I need these tops, blah, blah, blah. And then when you get home, you won't wear them again. A pair of shorts, another top. But she had texted me yesterday during the day, and she said, I had told her, I want to make sure and pay your part of this trip, because I'm so grateful that this friend and her daughter, let her go with them. She said, you'll need to get $160 ready. Said that her friend and her are going to ride horses on the beach Thursday morning. $160. That doesn't sound like fun to me, but now see, they both love horses, so. And you know what I said? Okay. Because, I have never down through my life got to go on vacation, to have fun like that. We've never traveled. We've never done anything fun together. And if she can do it at my age, because I cannot go, I don't have the energy to go, I don't resent it. I don't regret 1 penny spent on her if she enjoys it. Because, this is the last summer she's going to have before being an adult. And that, you know what that means. But anyway, she's having a good time. She'll FaceTime me 2 or 3 times a day and text me throughout the day. But she said today they're going to the beach. They've been 3 or 4 times. But I'll be glad when she gets back home. I look forward to it. Okay. I had bought a watermelon the other day, and I cut it in half and took half of it downstairs and put it in the refrigerator. And then the other half, I dug out the majority of it, but, from about that much from the rind, I don't You know, I can't taste it anyway, but I just like the cool feeling of watermelon. And in the summer, you've got to have watermelon. And you usually can't find one fit to eat. But after I cut it up, after I got mine out, then I cut the rind up in little pieces. I mean, about like that. And so yesterday when we went down to feed the horses, I took just a little, small bowl of it full for them and fed them by hand, you know, just a piece in my hand. Oh, and that juice will just run out of their mouth. And Casper, you know, the light-colored one, the son, he wants to hog it all. He tries to push his mom out of the way so she can't get any. But they enjoyed their little watermelon. So today I'm going to give them some more since it's so hot. And I think they'll enjoy that because they love carrots. They love watermelon. They love peaches and apples, of course. And then when they see me come in to feed them, they know they're going to get 2 soft peppermints at the end for dessert. And they love them. Now, my girl don't treat them like that. She feeds them, and that's all she does. But, and then I think, whenever we sell them, will those people give them peppermints and all these little goodies that we do? I doubt it, don't you? You know, the other day at church, this girl was visiting. This church I went to that Sunday is very small, and there's not very many there, but this girl was visiting. She had tattoos. I don't think I told you that. All up and down her arms. And she said in all, she probably had about 30 tattoos on her body. Well, this lady, who is a little bit younger than me, walked up to her and said, just out of the clear blue, well, I don't like tattoos. Well, I could tell it really offended that girl. And that girl said, well, I could probably find some things you do that I don't like. And I thought, sometimes we speak before we think. You know, I don't have a tattoo. Don't ever plan on having one. My son came in one day, and I'm telling you, he was probably in his 20s. And, you know, he was a big guy, big legs. He had a dragon, a full dragon, down his leg, like where the tail was on his foot. It was the awfulest looking thing you've ever seen. But what good would it do for me to say, that tattoo looks awful? It's already there. His choice, probably my money. But I just, and then this girl's mother said something to me later. Well, she's not a girl, she's 40-something. But her mother said something to me like another day later. And I said, I'm sure when that girl said, I don't like tattoos, she just said it before she thought. You know, she didn't say it intentionally to hurt her feelings because she wouldn't have done that. But if you've got tattoos, I'm not going to be mad at you. I'm just going to think that's going to look really good when you're about 80 years old. But everybody, if they want to do tattoos, that's fine with me. I don't want a tattoo. And it would probably be painful, and I don't want any pain. That would be almost like going to the dentist, I think. So I'm not gonna do that. You know, I had seen some little jokes in this little magazine I get, and I'm gonna read you 2 or 3 of them. But first of all, I was thinking about cell phones. You know, when I was teaching, there wasn't cell phones then, like in the late 80s and in the 90s. I'm not really sure what year they came out. But you know, now every kid just about has a cell phone in school. And they have caused so much disruption. And the teachers some of them are just as bad as the students to stay on their phones during classes. I think it's affected everything. It's affected our life in every aspect whatsoever. Because I know that people get in trouble at work being on their cell phones, being on YouTube, being on Facebook, texting someone, calling someone. And I thought I'll never get that bad, surely, but I have. I've got that bad that, I don't want to leave the house without my phone. And used to, we would go to hours away from home and not have a phone. How did we survive? But I know in middle school, when I was subbing a lot, and I would, I'd say if it was left up to me, cell phones would not be allowed in the classroom. And of course, I don't guess you could even get away with that now. They went through a thing where they had a little, it's like where you put your shoes in, those plastic things that like hang on the door. Something that looks like that. And when you came in the classroom, you had to put your cell phone in one of those little pockets till the end of class. Well, then they quit. Half the teachers would make them do that. Half of them would just let them keep them at their desk. And there you were, just opening a can of worms. And the kid would say, well, what if my mom needs to call me? What if something happens at home? Which, that was the least of their concerns. And I'd say, well, it could be like me whenever I was growing up. If something happened that my parents need me, they'd just call the school and they'd come and get you or tell you or whatever. But when I walk out to the car of a day, and if I get in the car and I'll think, do I have my phone? Do I have my phone? And then now to even go beyond that, we've got these trackers on there. I mean, I'm sure there's so much more stuff than this, but just like with my girl, I can get on my phone right now and tell exactly where she is, which to me is really relieving to, when your kid's out and you don't know where they are. Well, I know where she is, but what has happened to us? We're all gathering up here for the technology to be connected. And then you know how we get when the internet goes off for 30 minutes. We're about to freak out, have a panic attack. But we'll survive it one way or another. But we are way too addicted. I think it is addicted. I think it's addicted. Listen to this. Two businessmen were, wait a minute, is that the one I wanted to? Yeah, two businessmen were talking with each other. Things have gotten so bad that I hired a professional worrier so I don't have to worry anymore, said the first man. That sounds great, said the other. How much does it cost? $150,000. How are you going to pay $150,000? Other guy says, that's his worry. A recent study has found that women who carry a little extra weight live longer than the men who mention it. Two newborns are placed side by side in the hospital nursery. One asks the other, are you a boy baby or a girl baby? The second baby says, I don't know. What are you? I'm a boy baby. How do you know? I'll show you. The first baby throws off his blanket and says, see, blue booties. Oh my goodness. All right. I read this before. I'm going to read it again since I was kind of reminding us in that last video about we need to be nice and not be rude and trying to tear people down. Therefore, this is 1 Thessalonians 5:11. Therefore, encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing. So ask yourself, are you building up and encouraging others? Because we need to be doing that. So you have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.